Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. And it's Monday, it's April 6th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And really interesting day today. It was all uphill. I mean, if as long as you were buying up until right into the 2 o'clock cutoff time, which is, generally our cutoff time, I think that's, you can see we topped out basically right at 2 o'clock. And that's interesting too. I always talk about 2 o'clock kind of being the cutoff time, the time you should probably exit. And if you've got a runner going, you don't necessarily have to exit your runners, but at least tighten up your stops and stuff and don't give back your profits. But today's interesting in that we made the double top right about the 2 o'clock hour, and we've been selling off ever since. And my guess is that's people exiting into the 3 o'clock hour and taking their profits. And I mean, other than that, I mean, it's uphill from the get-go all day long. Not a lot of entries, um, but there's plenty. I mean, if you just bought pretty much any pullback, and I want to talk about this, I got an email from a guy. He went long right here, but to go long right here, you got to go long at the very high of the day, right in the lunch hour, and that's a little bit. It's not really off the trend line yet. You got to figure that prices are working towards the trend line. There is a shorter term one in there, and it is off of that one. So I could see you wanting to maybe get long here, but you got to at least have some kind of correction. And this one pulled back a little, but in order to take that trade, you only want to take it if it breaks above that. You got to go long. You got to have your entry order sitting at the high of the day. And I think that's risky, but look at every other pullback. Here's one, good trade. Here's one, good trade. Here's one. I didn't even circle this one, but again, it would have been a good trade. I didn't like all those bars stacked up there, and I thought we were probably heading back over to the trend line. Here's another one here. There was a second entry that triggered right there, but after coming off that high there, I really thought we'd pull on back, and again, there's 4, 5, 6 bars stacked up. I think that's a little risky, but notice once you get the break lower and you get your another chance to go long, then you probably want to enter there. Uh, this little doji here is almost like a breakout pullback long, and so I would probably use a limit order there. This one I almost wanted to make it green, but there's enough reasons to consider it there. When you had the next little failed break lower and it turned up again. So really you tried to go lower twice, and it's like a failed second entry short basically. So if you went to a smaller chart, you'd see that. And there's another pullback here, another one here. You really could have entered on that first entry. You would have had to ride that little pullback back, and then there's even another little one there. But when that one didn't take off, that made this one suspect. So I didn't like entering on that one. This was a failed second entry short. Here's a pullback. So any pullback you took that actually made a correction today, um, you would have made money. That's the only one that you wouldn't have made money on. And of course, that's the one some trader talks himself into taking. And, so you got to be careful. Then you got another pullback here. It was good. And that got you into the 2 o'clock hour. So if you took any pullback um, that you had even a couple of ticks in before you entered, you wouldn't have lost money. That's the only trade that I see there. There's a little bit of a pullback there. Still would have worked. Of course, if you took this first one, but this one's a little different because you've got a couple legs up. You're bouncing off the upper trend line. You got to be careful with that one. There's those couple there we talked about. I mean, every one of them, if you took them, they worked, except for this one right here. And I guess so you could say that one right there as well. Uh, but you would at least wanted prices to come back to here. And there was a little break above that bar, and it is off the EMA. But again, by the time that happens, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 bars stacked up, and they're all, and just about every one of them are dojis as well. So um, you want some kind of trap here, and you ended up getting the trap here and going long and going a little higher. So, but let's talk about the trades real quick, then we'll wrap today up. But I did want to show that, and since I got that email from the guy, I wanted to show it. And I know this doesn't look like it. We talked about it a few times lately. When you get a trend that's all these little bitty bars with lots of doji, it just keeps going higher and higher and higher and higher. That is a strong trend, even though it doesn't look like it. And for whatever reason, it slowed down about lunchtime. And you can see from lunchtime, from about 12 o'clock until 3 o'clock, that's all the price action we had, not much happening. And then look at the rest of the day. So the volume dried up. I mean, people just quit buying, and nobody's was willing to sell it, but the buying slowed down. And I'm guessing what happened was there was a lot of buy orders that were sitting idle, waiting for the market to open after the holiday. We had a 3-day weekend, and so they came in and bought it up. And I'm sorry, excuse me. Throat's bothering me a little bit this morning, but anyway, some pretty good trades. A lot of them you would have caught runners, and all you had to do was just wait on a little correction and buy. And you know, I don't want to say that. I hate to say this because this could happen to you, but on days like this, if you do make a mistake and you buy a little bit high, where was that trade? Like right here, you might just, and it starts backing up, you can almost just hang on and take a little bit of a hit, you know, a little bit of a pullback and a little drawdown, because it's probably going to test that high again, and it did, and it would have given you a chance to get back out with a tick or so if you did got caught in that. But you know, that's, you got to be real experienced to do that, and I hate to even mention that because I know what'll happen. People will start doing that, and then you do that right here, and it never comes back, and you get burned for the day. So I'm hesitant to even mention that. Your best bet is probably go ahead and get out. I mean, this one actually gave you a warning when it broke higher, and that didn't go anywhere. And then the next one's a little bit of doji, and so it's still playing around up there and gives you a chance to get out before it actually sells off. So as soon as that one ended as a doji, I'd be looking to get out, and you could have got out with a tick or two before it sold off. And then it's just a little two-legged correction, and then you got another 2 legs up, and it tried to make a new high, and it just couldn't do it, and it's been selling off ever since. So it still gives you a chance to get out. Notice what happened to most of these once it took off. It doesn't hang around very long. It takes on off. So when that one didn't go anywhere after a couple of bars, that's your clue. Just get out and take what it'll give you. You know, if you can get out of break even, just give up your give up your commission and take your break even on your trade and be happy that it only cost you, $3 or whatever you pay for your commission. So, but anyway, let's talk about the trades, and we'll call it a day. I don't have this on here, but this is I don't know why that does that sometimes. Most of the time when you pull that line across there, it will snap flat and even like that, but sometimes it doesn't. But you can see that trade right there, and really your matching lows are right there, and you get that one little tick below. There's a new high, pullback first entry, pullback second entry. There's also a failed second entry short there, and it's right off the trend line. Just go long right there, and that one takes off. And if you caught this trade, you could have ridden this up all day long. All you needed was that one entry right there. But even if you missed that one, there's a breakout pullback long here. I'm not as crazy about it because if you're looking for a measured move, your first move up is basically like that. And so there's still room to get out. And you can see we hesitated right there before we went higher. But I just wasn't crazy about that one. There is some overlap and 3 or 4 bars there. But if you're being aggressive, you're probably going to take that as a breakout pullback long. And if you caught that one, you could have stayed in all day long. And then, of course, you get the failed second entry short. Notice there's a new low there, pullback first entry, pullback second entry. So there's a failed second entry short right there. You got to figure that what we're probably heading now is up here, and plus they're going to trap people right there. They're trying to pick highs, and if you caught that one, you could ride it the rest of the day. Then you get another failed second entry short here off the midline. It's not a great signal bar, so it's a little bit aggressive, but most people are going to take that trap, especially on a day where you're getting all these little bars, and there's still a little bit of room to these highs over here that we're probably going to test. And so you might want to take that one. Again, it's a little aggressive, and there's a breakout pullback long here. But again, I'm not crazy about that bar. You probably should go ahead and circle that one green, though. I think I will. Um, I like this trade, to be honest with you, but it was taking a risk right there because there's a good chance it breaks higher and turns down and goes to the other trend line before it takes off again. So, but then you get a breakout pullback long, and I didn't like this signal bar so much here, and that's actually the one that's supposed to be circled. But look how small it is, and prices broke lower first, then went out the upside, and so you get in that with little or no risk. So I liked it. This is really your signal bar again, and I wouldn't necessarily be afraid of when it broke above this bar and pulled back and closed if it went above that one, even though that's again, that's that going long at the high of the day, but that's like a little breakout pullback long. And so, um, real aggressive trader might even enter there, although I'm not going to circle that one because I think you're really asking for trouble when there's been so many good trades to turn around and enter right there. And then you get another two-legged pullback. There was a break higher there, so if you took that one and you had your stop one tick below, you got stopped out on that one. And that's why I'll use two ticks a lot of times, especially on a day like this. But I didn't like entering there because of those four bars in a row and the fact that we just came off the high on a perfect measured two-tiered channel. So the odds are is we're going to head towards the other side. But this thing was so strong that it had headed an angle to here. And then you got your break and two legs tempt to a new high, and then it sold off. Um, I think you were better off to wait when you got that little trap, and then it turned back up again. And if you went to a smaller chart, you would see a failed second entry short right there. So, and then you got another second entry here. Again, after just having that and not going much further than that, again, look at all the overlap. I just think it's too risky. Um, Again, I probably should circle it green because on a day like this, you don't hardly want to pass up a second entry. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it in green, but I think you're better off to wait till here because now you got a new swing low. First entry short, second entry short, it fails. Just go long right there and you got the sure thing almost. And of course, it takes on off. And then you pull back and you get a first entry. I marked it green because now you kind of got this little secondary channel here, a little short term, and it bounces off it. And then it pulls back again here. This is the one I already talked about. This is a good place to look for a long, but you don't want to go long up here. That would be like, it'd be like taking this trade and entering right here. And the odds are just too great against you, especially when it's starting to angle over and we're trying to get back to this trend line. Notice there it's not quite back there, and when it finally does get back, it never get a break higher until here. And of course I like that one as too, and I like this is a nice second entry long here. uh, Pull back first entry, pull back second entry. It doesn't really break higher there, but that's easy to see. Two-legged correction, two measured legs. It made a double bottom right here. It's the first pullback to the EMA all day. There's a lot of traders that wouldn't take anything up here waiting on this to try to get a scalp, and you see it worked. So I wouldn't enter here because you know, you got a doji and you're only a few ticks from that little double top right across there, and you're only a few ticks from the Strong's resistance area. So I don't think you can enter on that one. I don't like it. Um, in fact, I don't think it worked either. Just see. Entry would have been 78.75. That would have been a four tick failure, but on a bar like that, you'd probably use a limit order. So that probably would have been a good trade as long as you use the limit order knowing that that's not a great signal bar. It's not a bad one because it did close up near the high, so it could have easily been more bullish looking, but there's only a few ticks in it, so it's not like it really had to fight to get up there. Like if you took one, I don't see one today. Um, but if you go back and you see one that trades and it reverses and it has to move, like this one, it had to move a long way to get back up there to that high, but generally you'll see some even bigger than that, where this one's only got, a couple of ticks in it, so it's not like it really fought to move higher, and then it still didn't close right on its high, uh, meaning it's not a perfect signal bar either. So, but that's really what I saw today. Not much else you can talk about there. If you're a member of our premium site on the website, I did post some information about some new charting opportunities for the group, and our group rates are good for it. And so take a look at it, especially those of you that are new that haven't gotten real acquainted with NinjaTrader. I'm not steering anybody away from NinjaTrader. I still use NinjaTrader. I still like NinjaTrader. I don't really want to change my charting. But NinjaTrader has done some things that is kind of forcing some people to either say, hey, if I want to go with Ninja, I got to go with their broker. And some people don't want to do that. So it's just another option. I've been able to negotiate some good rates for our group. And so take a look at that. If you're a member of our premium site, you can see that information. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Not much else I can say about today. Just a strong trend with lots of opportunities to enter. And I mean, like I said, you could enter almost anywhere in here and stay within the 2-point rule, and you don't have any problems. So keep that in mind. But that's it for today. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. Hope everybody had a great holiday, 3-day holiday weekend. Hope you came back refreshed and rested and ready for this nice trading day we had. And but we'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.